السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم، ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي رب زدني علما. Brothers, I humbly requested, inshallah, if there is some space in front of you, if we can move up, inshallah, and fill in those spaces, especially in the third, fourth, and fifth line. Brothers at the back who can easily move forward are requested to do so, inshallah. Jazakallah. My respected elders and brothers, last week we started this topic that we are passing through a very significant time of the year. It's significant from a Dini, Islamic perspective also. It's significant from a worldly perspective also. From the Islamic perspective, it's significant because Dhul Hijjah, the last month of the Islamic year, is one of the 4 sacred months. A sacred month is one in which the reward of good deeds is increased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and likewise the consequences of evil deeds are also doubled and tripled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From a worldly perspective, from a dunyavi perspective, why are these critical days or significant days? Because the months of July and August are usually the months when our kids, boys and girls who are in college or who are in school, they are off and they are at home. So we are able to spend more time with them as compared to the remaining 10 months of the year. So we should plan from right now how much time are we increasing or taking out from our regular schedule to spend with them. Are we ready to take them out sometime? The bond that was missing or that was damaged in the last 10 months because we were not able to give them time, this is the time to make up that bond and increase that bond. Couple of things what were mentioned, and then I'll move forward. We had mentioned that the structure of the academic education, not only in this country but in any corner of the world, is such that they are just taught about this world. They are not taught about the hereafter. Nobody talks about the hereafter, that what's the real purpose of a person coming in this world and how is it affecting our kids. And one is being successful on a worldly level also, and one is being successful as far as the hereafter is concerned also. The real successful person is one who is successful in the hereafter, who is able to go to Jannah. Me and you might be very successful in this world. We might be able to drive a Tesla. We might be able to buy a house worth at least $1 million. And we have a good living. Whatever latest gadget that is out there, our son and daughter request from us, we are able to give them. Or the youngsters who are graduating, as we mentioned last time. The dream that they are being shown is within 5 years you are able to buy your house. You start a salary from 70K and so, then you are a successful person. So this is what they are being bombarded with. But as believers, as Muslims, what is our responsibility to teach our kids? And the first teaching institution is the lap of the mother. And we stopped at this point that one is building up our children academically and one is building up our children spiritually. Why do we need to build them up spiritually? This was the question where we stopped our conversation last Jummah. We need to build them up spiritually because the entire decision in the hereafter depends on our spirit, on our ruh, on our soul, the ruh that is inside. because of which I'm talking to you right now, because of which you are sitting here in the masjid by your own free will. You drove and you came to the masjid and you are listening right now. This is because of the soul or the spirit or the ruh that is inside us. Our life is a combination of two things, body and soul. If body is there, that is made up of flesh, and soul is not there, that person is not called a person. If I pass away and somebody calls on my cell phone, my body is still lying inside the house. My children pick up the phone. They say, we want to speak with Kashif. What will they say? He passed away. He passed away. He left this world. Where did I leave the world? I'm still in my house. The funeral director hasn't come and he didn't lift up my body yet. I'm still in my bedroom. But my son and daughter is saying he passed away. What does it tell us? If ruh is there, if soul is there in the body, then we are there. If not, we are not there. The structure of flesh is nothing. So body needs the soul to be alive. Soul needs the body to be in a working position. If the soul is there, but it cannot take a structure within a body, it's just moving in the air, that soul is useless. It cannot achieve anything, it cannot do anything, it cannot stop anything. So our life is a combination of body and soul. When it's a combination of body and soul, this means like we need food, drink, clothing, shelter. Likewise, we need food, drink, shower, clothing, shelter for the soul also. Whatever is needed for the body is needed for the soul also. If it's missing for the soul, then we will be hollow from inside. Hum andar se khali honge. And food of the body is understood. What is the food of the soul? Salah, recitation of the Quran, the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the firm belief and reliance and dependence on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the food of the soul. We get sick, fever, diabetes, heart attack, arthritis. These are all diseases of the physical body. We have diseases of the soul also. Backbiting, tattletaling, jealousy, being proud, considering others lower than you, excessive anger, not being able to digest the success of the opposite person, not being able to digest the khushi and the happiness of the opposite person. This is these are all examples of spiritual diseases. So like there are sicknesses of the physical body, there are sicknesses of the ruh also, of the soul also. We need to go to the doctor and take the medicine. Shifa, cure comes from Allah, but Allah has made these things sources. Medicine, doctor, therapy. If Allah wills, they will benefit us. If Allah wills, it will not. If Allah doesn't will, they will not benefit us. Likewise, the ruh also has medicine and doctors. And what is that medicine? The book of Allah and the sunnahs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Meaning the Islamic way of life is the remedy and prescription for the soul. So once we understand this, first we are a combination of body and soul. Second, like body has needs, soul also has needs. Like body needs food, soul also needs food. Once we understand these 2 points, we get the answer to our question. What is the question? Why do we need spirituality? This is why we need spirituality. This is why we need to make our kids from a young age understand that this is why it is needed that we are a combination of body and soul. I should ask myself when I stand here in front of you, you should ask yourself how many times me and you have this conversation with our children. Once a year, once every 2 years, once every 6 months. I know the answer, you all know the answer. जब हम ये बात ही नहीं करेंगे तो फिर बच्चों का तो कसूर नहीं है, फिर तो हमारा अपना कसूर है. If we don't talk about these things with our children, it is not their fault, it is our fault. So, and now this gets connected from where I started. The structure in the world, the academic structure, and the spiritual structure that is needed, what Islam gives us, combine them. Because spirituality is not being taught there in the institutions, whether Muslim countries or whether non-Muslim countries. Akhirat is not even being talked about. The concept of hereafter is not even being talked about ever in the whole year. Only thing that is being talked about is दुनिया को कैसे अच्छा बनाना है, how to make this world a pleasant place of living for yourself. This is only being talked about. So अब वो कमी यहाँ से पूरी करनी है. Now that deficiency that is there, we need to have this support system in the house. We need to have this support system in the masjid. We have to need this support system in the community. It won't come from one person. It won't come from one masjid. It will come when me and you have this understanding in the first place that this is needed. We all get together, we join our hands with one mind, and we are on one page, then the community will benefit from it. Each and every child that lives surrounding any masjid, if the system is there in that community, a newcomer that buys a house in that community will benefit because the system is there. If the system is not there, even the people who are living will not benefit. So I'm not talking about any specific place or masjid. I'm talking about me and you, what we need, what is missing, and what needs to be done. And it's not a one-man show. It needs a support system from the whole community. Moving forward, diseases of the soul, they affect our hereafter. As I mentioned, if I don't have a good paying job in this world, if I'm never able to buy my own house and it's time for me to pass away, I was never able to buy a Tesla in my life and I ended up in my grave, no worries. Nothing is wrong in it. But if I am successful in the hereafter, if me and you are able to answer 3 questions in the grave, this is for everyone. As I mentioned last time, this is related to the youngsters also, this is related to the elders also. Why we started this topic? We started it in the last 2 years also, because youngsters are in the masjid in these 2 months more than compared to any other months of the year. So those who are sitting, don't think that I'm talking only to your parents here. I'm talking to you also. You are the reason why I came up with this topic. Okay? So if I am able to answer in my grave, Ma Rabbuka, who is your Lord? My Lord is Allah. Ma Dinuka, what is your way of life? My way of life is Islam. Ma taqulu fi hadha ar-rajul, what do you say about this person, meaning Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And I say that he is my Nabi and he is my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If me and you are able to answer this question, they won't ask me whether I went to NASA Community College or whether I graduated from NYU. This won't make a difference to the angels in the grave. I used to teach in Columbia, or I used to just dig the street on the road here in New York, won't make a difference to the angels. The only thing that makes a difference to the angels is that me and you are able to answer these 3 questions. And if me and you are able to answer these questions, Al-Qabru Rawdatun min Riyadil Jannah, the grave will become a garden out of the gardens of paradise. Allah will open up a window from Jannah where me and you can see what is our destination. That will be my house on the day of judgment. Me and you can feel the cool air and the fragrances and the ni'mats of Jannah. And if, may Allah forbid, may Allah save all of us, Ameen. If me and you are not able to answer these 3 questions, I was only studying from my regions. I was only studying how to get the highest grade. I was only studying so I can get my job in the top 100, 500 companies in the world. I never thought that what are the answers of these 3 questions. Then I would say, ha ha la adri. This is mentioned in the hadith. Me and you would say, ha ha la adri. जिसका मतलब है, हाय मैं बर्बाद हो गया, मुझे इस सवाल का जवाब नहीं पता. May I be destroyed, I don't know the answer of this question. And then, hufratum min hufarin nar, the grave will become a pit out of the pit of the hellfire. May Allah save all of us, Ameen. So the youngsters and the elders, me and you, this is the real purpose of life. I'm not saying don't go to an Ivy League college. I'm not saying that don't get a good education. I'm not saying don't look for a high-paying job. We are allowed to do this within the parameters of deen, making sure everything is halal, but not at the cost of our deen. Not at the cost of our deen. I'm using a harsh word. I don't mean to criticize anyone, but just to make me and you understand. We should not go for this world by slaughtering our deen. दीन को ज़िबा करके दुनिया हासिल करना, इसका मतलब मैं नुकसान में हूँ। दीन को कुर्बान करके दीन की कीमत पे दुनिया हासिल करना, दीन इससे रोकता है। हाँ, इस्लाम इससे ज़रूर रोकता है, लेकिन इस्लाम हलाल तरीके से दुनिया कमाने और एंजॉय करने से नहीं रोकता। Islam allows us to lead a happy and blissful life. If Allah has given us wealth, enjoy, as long as it's halal. But at the cost of deen, Islam doesn't allow us this thing. So we youngsters who are sitting here should understand this concept. We elders who are sitting here should understand and transfer this concept to our younger generation. Time is up. Just a little bit thing that was mentioned last time, so nobody gets confused. This last 2 minutes, I'm specifically speaking to the youngsters, mashallah, who are sitting here. And then inshallah, not next Jummah, the one after it, that would be the 21st, inshallah, we'll wrap up this topic. That would be the third part and the last part of the series. I mentioned last time, and I was addressing the elders, some of you might have felt offended also. I said that we have this back home mentality. We should change this thing. And some of the youngsters might have gone home and said, see, look, Imam Sahib, Baba Imam Sahib was saying, you are so and so, or the parents are so and so. So I'm speaking to the youngsters. Even if our parents are so and so, even they have this back home mentality, we should not build a wall and make this a reason of building a wall. We should not make this a reason of picking up fights with our parents. It is now our responsibility to tell them that what's happening in the world. Nicely explain it to them. Whether they have the current mentality or whether they have the back home mentality, at the end of the day, they are our parents. And we can never fulfill the rights and claim of our parents. Never. No matter how good we are. A sahabi came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A young boy came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said, like today youngsters, school and college, they do job at the weekends. So I do work and my father takes my whole paycheck. He doesn't allow me to spend it, or most of my paycheck. He complained to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, call the father. The father was called. He made a poem in his mind. I'm making it short because time is up. He made a poem in his mind that when I go to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'll say this, because he knew that my son has complained against me. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw him. He said, "Jo dil mein qasida banaya hai wo padho." Whatever you made the poem in your mind, say it. And I won't go into what was mentioned. There were like 8 or 10 couplets in it. After listening to that poem, he mentioned how much I did for you, O son, and since you were born until today, and now you come and complain against me just because I am taking part of your paycheck or whole of your paycheck. While listening to this, tears came out of the eyes of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said this famous sentence, "Anta wa maluka li abika." तुम और तुम्हारी जितनी जायदाद है, उस सब के मालिक तुम्हारे वालिद हैं. You yourself and whatever you own belongs to your father. He owns it. Now, forgive me, elders should not take it in a wrong sense. Okay? कि हमारे पास खुला हथियार है, बच्चों के साथ जो करना चाहें करें नहीं. सबको एतदाल में रहना चाहिए. We should all be moderate. So I'm talking to the youngsters. Don't get me wrong from what you heard in the last Jummah. At the end of the day, it is my and your responsibility as children of our parents. If something is missing, if they can't comprehend or understand anything, we should explain it to them, and don't make this a reason of disrespecting them or thinking them that they are not up to the time. No, they are way beyond than us according to time. They have more wisdom and firasat and understanding and far-sightedness as compared to me and you. Whatever was said and heard, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding of these things. Ameen. We'll have the azan inshallah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا